The industry is leveraging more interactivity.
Buyers are looking for specific signals.
The last touch attribution stopped being a reliable metric.
We're testing hundreds of creatives at any given time. And when it hits, we crank the QPS, baby. We dial it up.
A quick thing before we jump in. If you've been listening to Points of Growth, that's us. We're now called Attributed. Why the change? Because attribution is the game. Data is everywhere, split across platforms, locked behind privacy walls, and scattered across channels. Attribution is what connects all of it. So we named the show after the thing that actually matters. Everything else stays the same. We're still here to talk MarTech, the good, the messy, and the controversial, just with a sharper lens on fragmentation and data loss.
I'm your host, Neha Dawar, and today I'm joined by two experts who've been closely observing how new monetization formats are reshaping both the performance and brand sides of our industry. Meet Maria Solodilova, Head of Business Development at Yango Ads, and Mark Fruhan, Global Head of Demand and Strategic Partner Development at BidMachine. Today, we're going to talk about signal loss, new KPIs, privacy boundaries, and what the future of mobile monetization might look like. Hi, Maria. Hi, Mark. Nice to have you both on the podcast. Before we kind of jump in, as my favorite question, can you both introduce yourselves, both professionally and personally?
I'm Maria Solodilova. I've been a business development leader for over 10 years now. Most recently, I've been spearheading international expansion of Yango Ads app monetization solution, which is our in-house in-app technology and the service behind it. And on the personal level, I have been a theater aficionado. I have gone to over 200 live theater plays in my life. And last year, I became a co-owner of the cutest dog on the planet named Julie.
I'm going to fight you on that one. I think my dog's cuter, but I'll take it.
They're all so adorable. I mean, you can't get over it.
So Mark Fruhan, I don't typically say how long I've been a business development exec, but hopefully someday under Wikipedia, my name gets referenced there. Very proud of it. Being a business development executive is not for the faint of heart. We get to go after new stuff, incubate new stuff, help the existing group build more stuff. I've been working with folks who are with Yango for a long time, probably over 20 years, going back to my VeriSign days. We always look to get together, whether it's an event around the world or each of us are looking at new initiatives. We're very strong partners. And for me personally, in the in-app space, very exciting times for all the companies, whether it's streaming, whether it's casual gaming, or whether it's utilities. The phone is the point of entry. Personally, I have 30-year-old children who I, in my spare time, try to catch up with them. They're singers, songwriters, sound engineers. My daughter's team recently won 2 Grammys, which is great. The artist named Kehlani. So very proud.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
Very excited to be a part of it. Back in my day, when I was at VeriSign, we were up for a Grammy for a ringtone called Crazy Frog. Now I'm going to live that through my kids.
Oh my God, the pressure is on, Maria. Are you feeling it? We've got close to Grammy winners on this podcast. I think this is taking it to new levels today.
Definitely. I'm feeling the Bad Bunny level pressure.
To start off, let's talk about the privacy landscape. So, from iOS privacy updates to stricter GDPR enforcement, these past few years has forced the industry to rethink everything, right? From targeting all the way to measurement. So how has the mobile ecosystem adapted into this space? And if there's one thing that surprised you the most, what is it?
I hear these questions when you mention GDPR, but it's not just GDPR, it's GDPR, it's CCPA, it's CPRA, it's DMA, am I missing something? It's global consent frameworks. I mean, my gosh, it doesn't end. And what's happening for us is we're trying to be very targeted or offer our clients more type of targeting to hit the mark. When you have key drivers like Apple's AT&T and scan frameworks evolving, and you got the browser cookies are being eliminated, deprecation and third-party cookies. So it becomes ever challenging. But then again, those challenges create opportunities, right? The companies that can step up, deliver reasonable solutions, stay within the framework of where we're looking for that audience, therein lies the opportunities. Here at BidMachine, we're very, very focused on identity frameworks, if you will, working with some of the top identity partners. Buyers are looking for specific signals. It's our job within the bid requests to make sure we have those signals or those identity parameters that they're looking for and push them out. I would say our focus is really around identity, the identity fragmentation, being able to support as many identity signals as we can and building up from there.
I agree completely, Mark. What interested me most was the fact that under these new constraints, the budgets didn't disappear and advertisers didn't just pack up and leave. The whole system needed to change how we perceive value and how we measure it. So a lot more focus now is on first-party data, contextual signals, creative quality, and just a different set of KPIs. Research shows that 80% or more of organizations actually made the change in the structure or strategy because of the signal loss, but then they literally kind of revamped the way that they look at it. And I see it on the publisher's side as well. You see that the apps that have strong engagement and good first-party relationships, those were the first ones to adapt, and they adapted pretty well. And then the ones that relied on legacy tracking or third-party identifiers felt a lot more pressure, let's put it this way. And you see their struggle with experimentation with the hybrid monetization models or subscriptions to overcome those challenges specifically. But I think the industry moved on pretty swiftly. And the panic from the early on days kind of settled. And now in some cases, CPIs did go up, especially on iOS. But most players on the global stage didn't fear for it. They pivoted.
I think the 2 points you hit early on in your response that really hit home for me is budgets haven't disappeared. Budgets are still growing, right? The agencies are still doing a great job on bringing in the budgets, but redefining the KPIs and creative quality has become so important these days. And it should have been important prior, but people didn't really look at it because we had those other things that we could utilize to hit the target. It wasn't really about the creative. Now it is. And what's happening with AI and creative is really giving us a tremendous amount of opportunities to A/B test and to see what people are grabbing onto. But creative and the budgets are still growing.
That's all we need. Budgets still need to be growing. Doesn't matter. With all these changes, attribution models have actually changed dramatically, right? So with these signal losses, what KPIs advertisers focusing on now, and how has the metric of measurement evolved?
So from the advertiser's standpoint, there's a lot of change, like we mentioned, in the KPIs and the way that they see the ROI on their investment. The deterministic identifiers started disappearing with all the things that we mentioned before, ATT, GDPR, and all the privacy constraints. The last touch attribution stopped being a reliable metric. We can't just look at an install or a click and consider it a success anymore. Right now, what advertisers are looking for is more quality and not just volume, just like Mark said a few moments earlier. And the quality in the stats is asking the right questions in terms of how many users actually retain, how did they engage, did they spend, and what's their lifetime value. And increasingly what the advertisers are looking for is what was the incremental lift versus what would have happened anyway. On the one side, the data is more aggregated and constrained because device IDs are less reliable. On the other hand, there's more emphasis on context and engagement, things like where did the ad run, what was the user doing, and how they interacted with it. The KPIs matured, and retention, LTV, and incrementality have become the driving force of what the advertisers are going after.
Yeah, I'm with you. The world for all of us has changed. It was just so much more simpler then, right? With deterministic device IDs, last click attribution, MMP verified installs, especially on the performance side. I don't think some of that's changed, especially with some of the performance guys. We're still relying heavily on MMP providers, of course, in the last click attribution, but we have to rely more heavily on contextual and creative signals. And publishers want higher yield as it relates to the budgets we're getting without any privacy concerns. In any discussion that we have with third-party demand providers working with the BidMachine in-app exchange, we're not only scanning our supply, we're also scanning the demand. And Yango's scanning the demand, right? Scanning the quality. So it's good to be in the scanning business looking for poor quality ads and fraudulent traffic, but it's cutting into everybody's margins in the entire ecosystem. We're not seeing the margins in our business that we used to see, but as Maria pointed out, we are seeing the scale. Because of things like AI, we're doing more with less, I guess. Try to tell that to our employees. But in theory, where we're seeing we've had to put in more tech like test apps for iOS and Android. We're testing everything. Creative experimentations, right? We used to have A/B frameworks. Now we got A, B, C, D, E, F, G frameworks. We're testing hundreds of creatives at any given time from partners like Yango. And when it hits, we crank the QPS, baby. We dial it up when we figured out the formula. But we're always looking for that recipe. We're never stopping. We're a 724, 365 industry. And once we find that recipe or that formula, it's very easy for our systems to just go fetch. We don't have to find anymore. We know where it is. We're going to go fetch. Speaking of cute dogs.
So where's the kind of right balance between performance and brand marketing while respecting users' rights? And what are the fine lines that we should absolutely never, ever cross?
You know, our publishers, they love the performance advertising because of dollars, the budgets. I mean, they're uncapped, but we've seen a nice shift to brand advertising where the user experience inside the app is better than to see a consumer product or e-commerce versus seeing another ad for another casual game. Albeit a lot of us, it pays the bills. It's great. And the game developers are always developing new things. But it's a great question. What is the balance? I don't know if we've figured that out yet. At BidMachine, we're supporting both channels with new tech and growing. We haven't had much of those conversations except, give us more brand dollars. And I think, Madison Avenue or the big advertising centers are really stepping up and have embraced an app, have embraced casual gaming. We're seeing more brand in utilities. Typically on utility apps, you'd see app installs, right? The performance, but we're seeing more brand everywhere. So I think it's faring well that balance is shifting to what the customers want to see. And it seems to be brand.
I agree 100%. And I think the pressure on the advertisers is as high as ever in terms of delivering outcomes. But at the same time, the users and the regulators are very clear about what's acceptable and what's not. So a lot of the future of performance, I believe, relies on first party and zero party data, contextual signals, again, like we mentioned before, and very transparently following consent. So that means also recognizing that brand marketing isn't nice to have anymore. It's the foundation, especially as measurement eventually will get harder still. Obviously, there's some lines that shouldn't be crossed, like hidden tracking, trying to work around consent and building experiences that feel intrusive, that may yield upticks in the numbers in the short run, but in the long run will come back to bite you reputationally, legally, or ultimately even in performance. So I feel like these forces shouldn't be competing, brand, performance, and privacy. They should be leveraging each other's strengths and reinforcing each other. And the companies that put privacy at their front and center, not as an afterthought, those will be the ones who will continue growing sustainably in the future.
I think Maria got me on this one too, because she used the word consent. This is why inside BidMachine, we're enabling more non-gaming because we can get more consent. So think of the weather apps and utility apps, like logged in users, right? Location data, content signals. So we're getting more consent. When you have that consent, we can use that data from the sample of non-casual gaming and be able to find lookalikes around the entire exchange. So yes, consent is key. You see all these gambling or fantasy sports apps now. Cannabis is in play, but it goes to a state level here in the States, country levels around the world. So having more consent, better data signals, and then I believe we both hit this, probably didn't say it, fewer hops in the supply chain, because with every hop, you lose signals. So both companies together, we work on getting as close to the subscriber as possible, eliminating that signal loss.
Let's talk a little bit on performance. Are there any trends that are standing out to you right now, whether it's in formats, bidding models, or vertical growth?
For me and what I'm seeing in our business, it's really getting into cross-app tracking, cross-channel. We're seeing more asks for things like CTV. So building out our device graph to be able to match the various devices to a specific household. We have not entered the CTV space, but we have a lot of asks for it. And it looks a lot like rewarded video, like what we're doing or skippable, non-skippable, what we're doing in our space. Formats are kind of merging across channels. What's successful in a game or a casual game or in a utility that's very engaging, we think will transfer into the CTV space. Again, this is just conjecture on our part. I don't want anybody who's listening to this think that BidMachine's a haven for CTV. We're just getting started. That's what I'm seeing. Again, cross-app tracking, user-level attribution, user-level app attribution. That's what our product teams are working on these days.
Yeah, definitely. I'm seeing also the rise of CTV also nicely fits into my theory that playable ads and any ads that give the user an opportunity to interact more or give them a first-hand experience. Those are the ones that will permeate more and more platforms in the future because advertisers value that over a simple impression. So I think the industry is leveraging more interactivity whenever it can. And then for the mediation, I think while open bidding still remains as the major model, waterfalls are far from completely being gone. And the mediation services, for example, the Yango app monetization still offers a combination of waterfall and bidding models for the publishers to have a better grip on their ad revenue. And from the verticals of apps, let's say, that are on the rise from what we've seen at Yango Ads, definitely AI apps have been exploding naturally. So any app that leverages large language models, be it chatbots or utility apps. And also the vertical of health and fitness apps like the fitness tracker and the likes. Those have been drawing more and more attention, I think, because the users are more engaged and more interested in the topics of personal wellness, and advertisers are all in for it.
And you're getting a lot of consent on those apps too, right, Maria?
Correct. And you kind of kill two birds with one stone there. Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff. I got to jump into that.
Oh my God. I have a story to tell you. So yesterday I downloaded this kind of health fitness app. I'm not going to name any names. I actually downloaded 3 because I'm trying to figure out which one it's the one that I like. And the first thing they ask you for is your height, your weight, your date of birth.
Did you lie?
I always lie. I always do. Not significant lies. I'm not saying that I'm 50, but just, little variations here and there, not exact measurements. This just comes back to your point, Maria. Literally, these users are feeding this information, and I literally fed that information into 3 different apps yesterday. So that's really funny. And they're like, oh, can we share your data with other apps? And I'm like, absolutely not. And you're not even getting real information out of me.
Here's my feeling. If let's say you're 50 and you say you're 40, but that's how you feel, right? And you say you're active when you might not be active. I think it's more about how you feel than versus what you really are.
I think at the end of the day, you'll be shown ads whether you like it or not, unless you're paying for a subscription. That leaves you out of the loop for the ads. When you're confronted with the idea that ads are a necessity at this stage, it's better to have more relevant ads for you than not. And sometimes consenting to specific things may be a better option.
I need to figure out whether you're going to get my money or not. So I'm running a battle between all 3 of them.
A lot of this decision making is built on trust, right? So which app do you trust more to have that data about you to later on get that positive feedback loop in terms of ads from them?
That's why the supposed quality of your app, think about brands like Weather Channel, probably the de facto number 1 brand in weather, right? So you're going to trust more giving them your information. As you look at weather apps or fitness apps, it's their brand, it's the quality of their brand and how much you trust giving them, providing them.
100%. Yep.
All right. To close off, we're going to play a little game, and it's called Complete the Sentence. And the first part of the sentence is going to be the future of mobile monetization is.
The future is all about quality, quality, quality. Not that we weren't there before, but, higher quality ads, better quality apps, getting smarter with the signals that we have access to, and then really experimenting with creative. Again, I look back at what AI is doing. It's not just about getting the message out, but it's very much about the creative that we're seeing these days. Very much engaging, very much relative to what I like to see. I'm expecting a lot out of AI as it relates to creative.
I'll say the future of mobile monetization will be defined not by more ads, but by smarter value exchanges with the user at the core. This is going to be the world where revenue is driven through engagement, premium experiences, and intelligent formats that respect the privacy of the user and make them happy. Simple as that. Although much more difficult to implement it than to hope for it.
Well, Mark, Maria, thank you both for the depth, the clarity, and the perspective.
That's been Attributed, the new name for what you might have known as Points of Growth. If this conversation sparked something, follow the show and tell your colleagues. See you in the next episodes.